welcome to Slovenia for the International Canoe Federation's 5th and final Slalom World Cup of the 2016 season. It's World Cup finals time. More tension, more pressure, and importantly, double the points. We're going to be looking back at the best of the action from the 5 classes. There was a technical problem here. A big concrete rock came loose. The end of the course had to be cut, so in the C1 men, there were 15 athletes as opposed to 10. But apart from that, the course, although it's a lot shorter, many said it was more dynamic. Only 14 gates, 4 upstream, 10 downstream. So this is what I was talking about, 15 athletes in the start list. We're going to be looking about the best of them. First in action, very experienced, Alexander Slavkovsky from Slovakia. So far leading the World Cup standings. He came first this year in the World Cup in La Cédagel, first this year in Pau, and missed the final last week in Prague. But look at his start, very solid. Going across the back of the wave, and as you can see, the red and white poles have to be negotiated in an upstream direction. The green and white poles have to be negotiated downstream. It's a tricky course there. There are many offsets, which means the course designer, Raphael Smolden from the US of A, has given the athletes lots of tricky decisions. Do they go direct? Do they spin? Alexander's specifically known for having total control of his paddle, so he knows exactly where to put it at what time. Coming down to the end of the course already, one more upstream, and then the new finish line just under the bridge. And he takes convincingly the first time. Benji Savsek, the local hero. He won here 2 years ago. He has 3 medals from the World Championships. Bronze in 2013 and silver in 2014 and 2015. Total maîtrise here. Comes on the upstream. The trick is to spend as least time as possible because clearly, as we see in the images, the water's not moving. In and out quickly. This is known as a really difficult course because the water swirls around, there's lots of bubbles, there's lots of pressure. If you're away from the central moving stream, you can really struggle to have some pace. As we saw on the intermediate split, Benji was up a bit. He decided to spin to put himself in a better position for the next gate. 2 more upstreams to go. Again, going in the flow. Just has to negotiate the last rock. Savsek in front of his home crowd. Sprinting over the line, under the bridge. And he takes the lead. Look at that. 0.64 faster than Alexander Slavkovsky. Last competitor to go. 26-year-old Casey Eichfield from the US of A. Of course, a couple of decades ago, the USA were the dominant force, but now Casey single-handedly bringing them back up again. 3 Olympics to his name. His best ever result was last year's 2015 World Championships, where he came 4th. Also competes in the Sea-Doo. Absolutely lives this sport. He first was in a paddle boat at the age of 2. Controlling nicely, really trying to get keeping the blade in the water to really push it in the right place all the time. To be fair, not much time has changed hands in the top of the athletes in the bottom 50-metre section. A few have hit the last pole because they've been looking at the finish line. Casey Eichfield comes over the line, and that's the best result of his career. He's medalled. Confirmation of results. Benjamin Savsek takes the gold for Slovenia. Alexander Slavkovsky takes the silver Slovakia, and Casey Eichfield takes the bronze for the US of A. Hey, I'm so happy to win here. Of course, it's my home course. I know it so well. And it's really good news. The crowd, absolutely amazing. It gives you so much extra power. That's really what you need. So, summing up, yep, I'm really happy. Here are the World Cup standings results. Alexander Slavkovsky is the champion for 2016, closely followed by Nikia Peshier, Adam Burgess. This represents the most consistent performer in the 2016 season. It takes the total of the points you scored from your victories and your other results in the 5 World Cups. Well, I'm really happy that I stayed first in the overall World Cup standings. The beginning of the season was great. Each start I took gold. I was enjoying the second part of the season, but unfortunately I hurt my neck, my shoulder. That's before Prague in the semi-finals, so I didn't actually make the finals. But here in Tacen I finished 11th in the semi-finals, but because of the jury decision, 15 boats went to the final. I took my chance, paddled hard in the final run, and here we are.
Hi, I'm Adam Burgess.
Hi, I'm Ryan Wesley.
We're both C1 canoeists on the Great Britain team.
First time I saw Adam was probably at a Division 3 race in 2005, and I remember thinking I want to be that good.
Ryan's really good at racing finals, and I've maybe had a lot of finals where I've not quite done what I wanted to do, and I'd like a bit of that, I think.
I think the consistency, like every time I watch Adam I always think he's going to put a run down. If I'm sat in 10th and he's coming down, I'm getting worried.
I think I don't really fit the British mould quite so much, and I do a bit more stuff on my own, and I was quite surprised how disappointed I was to miss out on Rio. So yeah, since then there's probably not been a day I've not thought about it since losing out to Rio.
I think right now both of us are fairly towards the start of our career, certainly at the senior level, trying our hardest to get that Tokyo spot and knock David off his perch.
I think we're quite fortunate having David Florence in our country, because we've almost got a bit of a benchmark there. You know, he's been world #1 twice before now, so we know how fast we need to be, and we've got 4 years to get that fast and faster.
Hardly anybody gets that chance to sit on that start line. Yeah, I say it's in my mind pretty often. Just enjoy it and then train your hardest and hope it goes well on the day.
You can follow our journey, watch us battling it out with some other British guys back home as well. I'm sure it's going to be an exciting one.
May the best righty win.
It's going to be a lefty.
On to the C1 women, exactly the same course. So they're kneeling in the boats with a one-bladed paddle, and this is the top 10 athletes to go. Mallory Franklin. She's now 22, but first started in the Premier Division in English when she was only 12. Twice the world vice champion in the championships. Also a very accomplished K1 paddler, but here, total control. The key coming over the big lip is to put yourself in the right position to give you momentum to carry on, and here she's done this very well. Getting on the back of the stopper. Switching. So not many of the men switch, but the women do that. The reason for it is you're always stronger on your onside. So they're switching to make sure that most of the time they're on the onside. As we saw there, she's very close to the rock. Bottom section. A complete mess of that, if we're honest. Coming over the line. Provisional first place, but I think she knows she's left something out there. Next to go, Kimberly Woods, just 21 years old a couple of days ago, yet to celebrate her birthday. She's really adept at big water, and the start here is about as big as we get. Essentially, the water comes off a dam. You can adjust the flow because there's a big airbag just over the edge to see how much water comes down. But she's always at ease in every type of boat. Again, we see her switching at the same time. She, by the way, is the European Under-23 champion, won that a couple of weeks ago in Salken. Not too far away from here. Managing the boiling water. There's a lot of pressure coming out, being forced on the side. As this is an artificial course, although it was built in 1939, they put concrete blocks in, concrete base, in 1990, so the water is really moving around. In fact, you can see that with the level on the board. 85 seconds. They're used to going about 1:10, so it's a real sprint here. Look at that, complete delight. It's the superstar. It's 22-year-old Jess Fox, multiple world champion in this and the K1. She always knows exactly where she wants to put the boat. Maybe a fraction low there, however. So So she's really happy to be back in the C1 boat because the priority this season was very much a case of preparing for the Olympic Games in the K1 where she took a wonderful bronze medal. Fighting the water a little bit there, switching. She's going to lose a second or two. The water moves around a car. If you get a swell, you go fast. If you don't, you really have to struggle. This is not Fox at her best. Well, 2 seconds of penalties and really fighting all the way, switching. She switches really, really comfortably. There's one last up to go. We saw Mallory Franklin make a mess. They both have 2 seconds of penalties. It's going to be close. Where she comes. Just into second place. 2 years ago, here she won by 15 seconds. So the classifications, Kimberly Woods takes the gold for Great Britain, Jess Fox takes the silver for Australia, and Mallory Franklin takes the bronze for Great Britain.
Overwhelmed. It's been a pretty stressful day. They had to stop the racing when I was on the start line ready to go, but I'm glad I kind of kept my cool. And to come back in the semis and then have a really good run in the finals, so I'm really happy.
The World Cup standings, a bronze medal was good enough for Mallory Franklin, taking the points she'd already gained in the early part of the season and takes the victory. So Mallory first, Kim second, and Jessica third.
Really good, it's been really nice. I've gone to the World Cups this year, which I haven't done for a few years. And been on the podium on 4 out of 5, which was really nice. And in Sarah I came 5th, and I've been constantly trying to do those runs, and it's nice to get the consistency.
From the canoes to the kayak, sitting down with a 2-bladed paddle and some real flyers here. Peter Kauser from Slovenia absolutely stormed the semi-final. Bradley Forbes-Cryans on the British team from Scotland. In practice, he can do some staggering stuff, just needs to put it together. So far, 1 final, and that was in Ivrea. That's how to do it. Look at that, in and out. Must be inspired by Joe Clark, the Olympic gold medal winners. Necking the gate, really keeping the paddle in the water, keeping the stroke weight hard. And crucially, positioning himself for the next downstream or upstream. Deciding to spin to set himself up nicely. This is a cracking time. And the difference between this shortened course and the longer ones is they can go flat out all the time. Well, this is probably the best run of his life. Just needs to nail the last upstream. Carefully in there, in and out. 6, 7 more strokes. Well, that's a great run. Next to go, it's Peter Kauser from Slovenia. Double world champion and recently took the silver medal in Rio de Janeiro, just 3rd attempt. Crucially knows where exactly to put the boat. Bounces off the big wave. In and out on 1 stroke. Already this is looking very solid. Well, that's the quickest we've seen so far. Peter Kauser, when he walks down the coast, has literally hundreds of kids asking for autographs and asking information. But he really shows you how to manage this course. He's just putting the boat in the right time, not over-trying, necking the gate there. As long as you have your whole of your head and a little bit of the boat through, that's okay. If not, clearly it's a 50-second penalty. By the way, if you touch your gate, it's a 2-second penalty. You can hear the crowd. They must be pushing him along so much. Oh, it's close, but he takes the first place. Peter Kaz takes gold, Bradley Forbes-Cryans the silver, and Kazuya Adaki for Japan takes the bronze. Amazing. To finish one of my most successful seasons in my career this way with a win, and obviously in front of my home crowd, is truly something special. Absolutely great. And now for the World Cup standings, Mathieu Biazizo for France is the most successful paddler of the season, followed by Britt Prindis and Bradley Forbes-Cryans. Again, the best performances throughout the season. After the disappointment of not being selected for the Olympic Games, this overall classification became my main priority, so I really tried to do as much as I can to prepare for this. So I had the World Cup in Po, well, I came second, which was really, really good. And then over here, absolutely delighted to have a good result and win in good style the overall World Cup standings.
My favorite paddler is Mate Benush. I think he's a great paddler. He's a big guy like me, nice long strokes, and he always makes the courses look easy.
My favorite paddlers were Richard Fox and John Lackbill because of their style.
My favourite paddler is Boris Navu. I think he uses the water really well. He knows how much space to take off the gates while still being really, really aggressive and still sweeps it and looks good.
My favorite kayaker is Jennifer Bongard because she's of my old kayak club and I like her style.
My favorite paddler is Jana Dukatova because she looks very smooth and effortless on the water.
My favorite athlete is Fabien Lefebvre because he brought many innovations into our sport.
My favourite paddler of all time is Richard Fox, and I cannot deny that I had a massive hero worshipping complex of him when I was young.
Yeah, my favorite paddler is Thomas Schmidt. He was my idol like when I was young, and he had just a good technique for his time.
Even to this day, if I had got a chance to meet him, I would talk to him for as long as I could until he got bored of me.
My favorite paddler is Tony Stanguet because he's a French Olympic champion, and that's why he's the best.
My favorite paddler is Jessica Fox because she has an amazing head for competition.
My two favourite paddlers would have to be Tony Estangue from France, the triple gold medalist, loved his style, and Maylin Shaw from Spain. She's a great friend of mine and a great paddler.
On with the action from the men to the women, and it's the K1 final. Look at that list. They're all top international medal winners from World Cups, World Championships and Olympics. 22-year-old Jess Fox really tries to find the perfect line and use the force of the wave to push herself through. That's how to do it. Jess has actually medalled at the last two Olympics, silver in London, bronze in Rio. I'll be looking forward to doubling up in the Tokyo Games in 2020, clearly providing if she's selected. Massive 4 seconds up at the first split. She's always so measured, always putting in the right strokes at the right time. So not going in 100%, really powering when you should and using the power of the water in other times. Here's the slack water. Well, she was well up at the first split. And still has the power because it's such a short course. Normally athletes slow down a bit partway through, but this is 100% full out action. Comes over the bridge. And 6 seconds ahead of the field. Now, this is one of the most seasoned professional. Fiona Penny is in her 17th international season. Her mother was a top flat water paddler, by the way, but she really controls this. Fiona's all about dynamic power. Also, a very good field hockey player when she isn't on the water. Here she comes. She's very active in the Beijing Olympics, she's very active in the Rio Olympic Games. And he's going to keep going for Tokyo, she confirmed. Well, she looks fast. Really powering herself into the mainstream. Keeping close to the edge. How is she going to go? She's slightly up in the split. Hesitating a bit there. Maybe just try to get the boat in the right position. Some of the athletes had actually hit the last pole. Well, it's good, but still over 2 seconds slower than Jess Fox. Connie, as they call her, Karina Kunle from Austria. Double world champion, 2010, 2011. One of the naturally strongest athletes on the circuit. She actually missed Prague last week with a stomach bug. It's something to prove at the end of the season. And just make the Olympic spot this year also. Good crowd pulling her on. So far, faultless run. Really trying to... Oh, that's a bit slow. It's a really boily round gate 10. It's had a lot of problems today. The water actually catches you and takes all the momentum out of it, so it adds a couple of seconds. That's going to hurt. All she has to do is keep it going in the last section. Fiona Penny was a little bit slow. Karina Kunle is a little bit faster. Jess Fox is amazing. Here she comes over the line. just goes into second position. Jess Fox takes the gold for Australia, Karina Kunle the silver for Austria, and Fiona Penny for Great Britain takes the bronze.
I'm really happy with that race, and you know, it's been a bit of a different weekend for us racing here, a few different issues with the water level, but I think overall it's been a great race, and I'm so happy to take the win on that course. It was really tight and I knew there was no room for error, so I just gave it everything and happy to take the win.
What a popular result this has turned out to be. Ricarda Funk with her 2 victories in Ivrea and Prague is the victorious athlete of 2016, closely followed by Jess Fox and Jana Dukatova. Ricardo really putting in some excellent results in the last couple of seasons now. I'm really happy about the overall World Cup standings victory. It means so much to me after what's happened in this season. It's a really good feeling. See 2 men in a boat, kneeling, 1 paddle each. 3 French teams in the final. And the Olympic bronze medal winners from France not even in this event. Nicolas Guillemanico, Hugo Cahill. There they go. They were disappointed last weekend in Prague, missing out on the semi-finals. That's how to do it. Close to the wall, gives you plenty of momentum. As you see, the back righters have a good angle coming out of upstream gate number 2. It's all about positionment here. Well, that's really solid. You just have to make sure they keep in the fast water. Look, they're caught up there. Really lots of bubbly water, lots of pressure coming in. And if you're stuck, the seconds do tick by. I think the space for the future runners. Energy levels, no problem here, although they're fighting the slow water. Well, the can in the background is propulsing them forward, but here they go. Will regret being stuck a little bit earlier. Next to go, Pierre Picot, Hugo Bizot, the on-form team of the season so far. 4th in Ivrea, 12th in Aseo, 5th in Po, Prague were 4th. This morning they're very impressive. They just cruised into the final. And that's why they really have total control. Smaller than some of the other crews, but really know how to work together. And I guess that's the principle. We saw a back right, now we see a back left. But the way they've actually set up the staggers, some work in your favour, some work against you. Coming to the last set. That's a bit slow, I don't know why. Almost like they're relaxing over it. Make sure they went well. Well, just into second place. And so far, French first, French second. Now, these are the team of the season, the cousins Ladislav and Peter Skanta from Slovakia. Many years were in the shadows of the Hochshiners, but the last 6 months they've really come through. And as we all know, they took gold in the Olympics. That's in Rio, of course. Last week in Prague, they won by 2.66 seconds. 2014, they won 3 World Cups in a row, so they are the top team, maybe taking a wide angle there, but as they're so much faster than the others, they can just really take it easy. But they're going to have to go a bit faster now. They're 1.41 down at this section. Really powering through, spinning on gate number 9. That's quick. That's where we saw the first athletes having time lost, but not these. Punting off the side of the wall. Can be a risk, but not for them. Ladislav, taller athlete in the front, really leaning back, coming with 1 gate to go. Remember, they're 1.4 down at the split. That's impressive. 3 seconds to go, and it looks again they're going to take the victory by 1.81 seconds this week. Olympic gold and 2 victories in a row. Skantar cousins take the gold for Slovakia. France, Guillemanico, Cahill take the silver for France, and Picot Bizot take the bronze. Well, it's a French 1, 2, 3. Picot Bizot are the top dogs of the season. It's so competitive in the French national team, and as I said, Klaus Pesch, who are the Olympic boat, are not even here. Friendly competition. Well, it was a complicated season for us. We didn't actually manage to make it onto the podium at all in the individual races. So to do that this weekend, to have a medal and take the overall standings is really, we've saved something from the season. Well, that's it for us for the 2016 season. Thanks so much for watching, for listening. Follow us at Planet Canoe. See you next time.